Hey Anna, thank you so much for recommending and suggesting this book to me. Okay, so I kind of suggested it to myself because it was on my to-read list, but you're the one who picked it out and said, "Here, Rosa, read this one." I really love this book. It's about Michael Dirda and his life growing up and kind of told through like the books he remembers and the books he grew up reading. And it was really interesting for me because Mom and Dad did a lot with us when we were kids to establish the lifetime love of reading in our lives. I know they read with us. We grew up surrounded by books. Library day was a thing. Every Saturday we'd go to the library, and I still try to every week go to the library based on the habits and traditions that Mom and Dad established with us with that. So I can his family was a little bit less like with the growing up, establishing the love of reading with his family. But I can still relate to him growing up as a reader. And just like how what he read grew and adapted as he grew up and how he still loves some things. So it was really cool. Just like he basically like looked at his life in the different phases and like the books that defined that time. Because that is one of those things about books. You talked about how they're really awesome, how the stories don't just exist between the covers and on the ink on the pages. They kind of like become a part of your life. And Michael really kind of looked at that too, like, especially too, because the meaning of books can change for you as you grow older as well. I think there's several books that I keep going back to, and every time I read it, it's a little bit different because I'm different when I'm reading it. And so something someone says hits me a little bit differently, or a feeling or an emotion. Like, it's really interesting for him to like see him going through like, this is the stuff that struck me when I was a kid. Looking back, yeah, I kind of like can see how that happened. Or, he never actually like condemns anything that he read either. Like that I really loved. Like, he read everything. He talked about going through like the pulpy romance novels, like science fiction. Like, he read everything and he didn't condemn like anything that he read, which is really super awesome because a lot of people, have guilty pleasures, like I'd never tell anyone I read this book because it's too embarrassing, when really so many other people are buying it that obviously it's popular for a reason. So yeah, so it was really cool to see him looking back on his life through the books that he read. And I do think, because I know I've been trying to do some like Throwback Thursday books and look at some books that I've read like growing up that I really enjoyed. So it's really been interesting for me too to look at my life through that way. And I've started looking at it a little bit more objectively through the books that I experienced growing up and how they affected my life. So thank you so much for suggesting me and pushing me to read this one. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars.